It is quite literally impossible to heal yourself in the places that broke you. And I'm saying this as somebody who's tried to do it myself, and also just, just logic in general. But I'm going to use an analogy real quick of just a friendship, but I'm going to tie it right back into relationships. So I want you to just picture somebody who's struggling with self-esteem. They're struggling with self-love and, self-positive affirmation, seeing themselves as a positive person, and, just speaking positivity into their life. They often have a negative opinion about who they are, and, they believe all these negative things about themselves because they surrounded themselves around negative people. They surrounded themselves around complainers, people who constantly make fun of them, people who constantly, just talk down on them and talk negatively to them. And so to think that you can heal yourself, to think that you can love yourself positively, to think that you can come to form a positive belief about who you are around those same people, it is very, very hard. You should be trying to surround yourself around people who love you. You should be trying to surround yourself around people who speak positively into the world and not just constant negativity. And so how that ties back into relationships is that we think that staying in the places that broke us, staying around the people who, left our lives, or trying to constantly check their social media, constantly check up on them, constantly trying to, stay friends and stuff. We think we can heal ourselves in those spaces when in reality, it just keeps you broken. It keeps you emotionally attached. It keeps you stuck and unsure of how to move forward because you haven't created the necessary space to be able to actually go in a different direction. You have to understand that when it comes to relationships, friendships, it all comes down to comfort and familiarity. And so it is hard to let go of what's familiar while being around what's familiar. How can I get over you if I'm constantly interacting with you? How can I expect myself to lose feelings or, be able to move forward if I constantly am stuck in the past? It's like you wish to move forward, but you wish to also hang on to the very thing in which you're trying to let go. You're trying to keep around the very thing in which you claim you want to let go. And what I'm really trying to get towards in this video is just many of y'all are trying to have the best of both worlds, or you want to keep this person around thinking that they can heal you, thinking that they're your peace, but in the same breath, you claim you want to let them go. In the same breath, you say, you need to move forward. You need to leave them alone. Yet every single time you somehow find your way letting them back into your life, or you find yourself reaching out to be in their life, or you find some way, shape, or form to keep yourself emotionally connected. And this doesn't even have to be physical. This doesn't even have to be in the talking sense. This could literally be you checking their social media, you checking their TikTok reposts, you asking one friend about how they're doing, you just keeping tabs on them in some way, shape, or form. You can't let go of what you don't create distance from. You can't stay in the place that broke you, or keep checking in on the place that broke you, yet expect to be able to let it go. It just doesn't work like that. And I'm saying this from experience. I've tried to, let's just be friends. I've tried to, I can just check in on you and stuff, and it just doesn't work. In order to truly emotionally just let go of people to where you're just at peace with it, to where you can get over them or whatever, just let them go emotionally. It takes space. It takes you stepping away and actually growing yourself, reflecting on the situation, understanding why things turned out the way they did, understanding how you can better yourself, getting refocused on your own purpose and who you are as a person without that person in your life. Because sometimes you can lose who you are in the sense of, I don't know who I am without this person, because they've been in my life for this certain amount of time. And so I don't even know what life is without them. And that's a bad place to be in, because you never want to feel like you need a specific person in order to complete your life. And so really, if you even feel that need to have a person in order to be completed or in order to be at peace, I honestly think it's something you should question. What exactly am I looking for this person to provide to my life? And can I provide that to myself, or can I find other people to not replace them with, but fulfill that same role? I know for myself, it was just connection. I closed myself off so much from letting go and just waiting it out, holding on to hope, thinking things would eventually change. And I closed myself off to building new relationships, building new connections with people, opening up to new people. And so as a result, it kept me stuck in my past and the people in it. And of course I was struggling to let go because I was unwilling to move forward. I was only holding on to what I once had, hoping that I could fix it into what I wanted it to be. When in reality, the only way for me to be able to heal, the only way for me to come to a place of acceptance was to move forward and keep living my life without the expectation of them ever being back in it. But many of y'all again try to have the best of both worlds. You keep giving people chance after chance. You keep hearing people out. You keep, letting people back into your life, or you keep reaching out to certain people thinking that you'll be okay. But in reality, you can't heal. You can't emotionally let go by still staying in these places, by still keeping tabs on people, while still checking people's socials, while still trying to figure out what other people are thinking and how they're living their life. Like, at some point, you got to start to let all those things go. And I'll be the first to sit here and tell you, like, it's easier said than done, but it's a matter of understanding what it costs you. It's almost like a reset. It's like almost like a relapse of when you constantly check in, when you constantly check their socials, or you're reaching out and stuff. It's like you're almost resetting the whole process of healing. Let's say you've been no contact. I hate no contact, or just like the phrase in general, but let's say you've been no contact with a person for 2 weeks. Then you check back in on them, or you contact them. It's almost like you're resetting that whole healing process. And it's almost like you're reattaching yourself. You're re-engaged. It's almost like you're resetting your process of letting go because you gave back into holding on. But in order to truly be able to let people go, in order to truly be able to heal, you can't do it in the spaces that broke you. And it could be they broke you unintentionally. It could have been you ended on good terms type thing. Like, it goes for all different variations. All I'm saying is that you need space. You need space to focus on your own self, grow yourself, connect with new people. And sometimes we can feel like we're betraying the people of our past or leaving them behind because we're moving forward in life without the expectation of them ever coming back around. It can almost feel like we're betraying them, or we gave up or something. But sometimes you got to understand what's best for you is to move forward without the people who have seemingly always been in your life, or who you never planned to have to let go. And you have to come to peace with that. And the only way you make peace with that is by actually moving forward and not constantly revisiting it, not constantly going back. And again, I'll be the first one to sit here and tell you that it's easier said than done, but I am here to tell you that it's necessary, because I truly believe like healing is something that's your responsibility. It's something that sometimes requires isolation. I did a lot of my healing just on my own, but it was in the sense of building a better relationship with myself, understanding who I was, understanding why I allowed certain things to happen, where I needed to make certain changes, where I had certain fears, and how I was going to overcome those fears. Like, isolation is something that requires you to stop being constantly stimulated, in the sense of sometimes we like to think healing is just distracting ourselves, it's just sleeping with a bunch of other people, it's just finding a new relationship, it's just hanging out with friends, it's just drinking, it's just smoking. When in reality, healing sometimes is ugly. Sometimes it means sitting with yourself and having to face your thoughts that you try so hard to avoid. And it's not comfortable, but again, it's necessary. And that's where you honestly get the most growth from in your life. It's from the necessary moments. It's from the uncomfortable moments where, it's a struggle or it's hard to actually face them. But when you actually face them, gain the courage to face them, and then you finally get out of it, you're a completely new version of yourself that doesn't even allow your past to happen. You may not even be interested in the people that you struggle so hard to let go of, because you'll have so much more self-respect for yourself, so much more self-love for yourself, actual understanding of your standards, boundaries, and what you live by, and the type of people that you want to allow into your life. But if you never take that time in isolation, you never take that time to truly heal yourself, you never take that time to truly just actually put in the work instead of just, avoiding the fact that it hurt, then you can never really be able to heal from your past. And you can never expect yourself to be able to let the people of your past go, or to not allow your past to repeat itself. Because sometimes you could find other people that distract you and make you forget about the people from your past, but you're still a version of yourself that's vulnerable to allowing the past to repeat itself, because you still don't have those proper boundaries. You still don't have those standards. You still don't have those communication skills. You're still people pleasing, and you're still doing all these different things from your past relationship. It's just with a new person. And I promise you, when you can pinpoint why exactly you're so caught up on keeping certain people in your life, why you're so emotionally attached to them, to where you're unwilling to let them go, to where you're unwilling to do life without them. You keep trying to, settle in places that you don't care to be in, but you just want this person around because you think it'll bring you this sense of peace, or, it'll bring you this sense of closure, or you'll be on the terms that are acceptable, but just keeps them around. Like, where you could truly understand that, and you're like, you get to a point where you realize you don't need the person, but you're just looking for the feeling they provided to you, or something they provided to your life, whether they were a safe space, whether they were a person you could talk to, whether they were a person that didn't judge you. When you realize that that person isn't the only person that you're limited to having that experience with, then you'll realize that all you have to do is be willing to move forward, and understanding that if you built that once, then you could build it again. But if there's something you're relying on other people for, learning how to provide that to yourself. But, I love and appreciate you guys as always. Be sure to check out the Let and Go to Grow community down in the description, as well as my one-on-one coaching that you can sign up for. But yeah, catch you guys in the next video. Peace.